Well, welcome everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday night. Pre-winter storm, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. Thanks for venturing out. For folks who don't know me, I'm Stacy McClendon. I'm one of the teachers here at Common Ground and have been holding this space on Friday night for, maybe it's been about 5 years now. It was multiple Fridays, and then after the pandemic, we scaled back to the first Friday of the month. So I hope that we generate enough goodwill and loving kindness and compassion to carry you through the next month. So let's sit together and then I'll share some reflections just talking about compassion. I alternate with Mark Nunberg, who is one of the guiding teachers here. So on alternate months, he leads this session. And when I was here in December, I talked about compassion, and there was some agreement that it would be useful to return to that. So I'll be continuing that conversation, that reflection tonight. And hope to hear from you too, maybe what you've been reflecting on and what's useful for you. And so we often close the eyes if that feels safe and comfortable. Just collecting ourselves into the present moment, at least for the time being, setting aside busyness, responsibility, all of the doing and planning. Allowing our awareness to be fully present. We're not efforting to make something happen. We're becoming interested in what is happening, without judgment, without aversion. Interested in the nature of the mind that meets what's moving, what's arising. Aware of this physical body, maybe noticing where we're holding tension or stress, where there's an absence of tension or stress. Sensation, and even the exploration of what we might ordinarily call pain, we can acknowledge as sensation, perhaps unpleasant, but what is it really like, this experience, this discomfort? Is it hot, prickly? Interested beyond the familiar label. It often doesn't take long before we recognize our preferences, our judgments, what should be, what shouldn't be happening in the body, in the mind. And as best we can, we allow this patient kindness, compassion, to meet even this aversion. It's a bit of reckoning with, it's like this right now. It won't always be this way. A practice for reinforcing this intention, this attitude of care in the face of difficulty, is this recitation of phrases to help us remember, to help us return to this attitude of caring, not turning away in the face of difficulty, or collapsing into a sense of helplessness. And traditionally, we start with this offering, these wishes for ourselves. And as there becomes less resistance, the heart softens and opens, we extend these wishes outward. Not just to everyone in one fell swoop, but acknowledging the different categories of people, the different types of relationships we have. With people that are dear to us, folks who have been teachers and mentors. And they'll guide us through. And you can use these phrases if it feels useful to you, or if there are other words or images that arise for you that support this remembering, this returning to the intention of compassion. Please feel free. And if we're moving on to another group or category of people and it feels necessary to stay with who you're offering to, that's okay too. Tuning, listening for what's needed right now is an important part of this training, training the heart-mind. And we can start with ourselves. May I be free from pain and suffering. And the pain and suffering that is here, may I hold it with ease. And may I be safe and well in the midst of all of this. May I be free from pain and suffering. May I hold any pain or suffering that's here with ease. May I be safe and well in the midst of all of this. And if it feels right, it's moving on to extend these wishes to someone in our lives that's been an important teacher or mentor, who's invested in our happiness and well-being. Knowing they too experience difficulty. May you hold pain and suffering with ease. May you come to be free of pain and suffering. May you be safe and well in the midst of all of this. May you be free from pain and suffering. May you you hold any pain and suffering present with ease. May you be safe and well in the midst of all of this. We're learning to not resist softening of the heart, this attitude of caring without discriminating. It's allowing this attitude of care radiate out, not needing to control or manage. It's like the rays of the sun that shine on everything indiscriminately. And if it feels right, we can continue this expansive attitude of caring to the category of people that we might call neutral. We don't know them well, or maybe we don't know them really at all. Encounter them at the grocery store or driving down the street. Understanding that they too experience difficulty. May you hold your pain and suffering with ease. May you eventually come to be free of pain and suffering. May you be safe and well in the midst of all of this. find ourselves maybe getting caught up in wondering what someone did to deserve the suffering in their life, who's to blame, we can simply acknowledge this habit of the mind and return to the intention of a practice of these phrases. And even for the people in our lives with whom we have a complicated or difficult relationship, this practice is as much, if not even more, for our own joy and well-being. As it is the wish for even this difficult person to be free of pain and suffering. May you too hold your pain, your suffering with ease. May you be safe and well in the midst of all of this. And it's okay if you don't feel full of loving kindness toward this difficult person. What we're cultivating or practicing is orienting our own hearts, our own minds toward this attitude of care. Cultivating an intention. It's the envisioning of happy people, kind people, a joyous world. And so we start here with our own hearts. Letting this intention lead us in our actions. And ultimately, as we have less and less resistance to who we can extend this goodwill to, we can send the wish that all beings are free from pain and suffering. And all beings hold any difficulty with ease. And that all beings can be well and safe in the midst of all that's moving. May we all be safe and well. May we all meet difficulty with ease. May we all be free of pain and suffering. Take a minute to stretch. And if you're willing, the folks online, if you're willing to just drop into the chat a hello where you're joining from. And the folks in the room, if you're willing to turn to someone you don't know, that you didn't come with, and just say hello. Welcome. Thanks for playing along, everyone. Well, welcome again to Friday Night Love Fest. It's a great way to spend a Friday night, just remembering the capacity of our hearts, and especially when things are difficult. When it seems the world is moving away from this value of caring for one another. So we gather here, first Friday of the month, to be in community and practice and remind one another that we are not the only ones. So thank you for folks who are joining from home, folks here at the City Center who ventured out, and the folks who at some point ventured out and left a note in our Dharma Love Journal that sits in the corner with Kuan Yin. I'll talk a little bit more of Kuan Yin, who is said to hold all of the worries and sorrows of the world. And so folks write in, we have a tradition of just reading the previous month's entries and just holding these folks, their families, their loved ones, their friends, in our hearts. And I don't know about you, but it really highlights, like, we don't really need to know the backstory of anyone's suffering to wish them well. So I did a little preview. Hopefully, I think I can read everyone's handwriting, but if you wrote something and I missed it or don't represent it, it's because I can't read it. So I'll do my best. To the Syrian people, to be able to find security and community in these uncertain times. Metta to everyone out there, don't just let go, rather work through. Metta to our beloved sweet dog Bodhi, who went to heaven January 3rd. Metta to us who miss her terribly, and to all other doggies and their humans. Love Bodhi, the chocolate lab, loyal girl who loved Dylan and Charlene. Metta to Mark. Metta for Alex. May he find peace and know love as he navigates our breakup and distance. For Brid on her journey into the unknowable, her husband Paul for peace with what is now. For GK that he experiences beliefs as changeable and the best outcome possible. For the S family, metta for these individuals as they experience the conflict that seems unpenetrable. Metta for all as a golden shower of divine love, enough to see the truth inside of something. Each. For M, as she nears final death, May she experience self-love and care from all around her, including the 127 and, of course, 4K's truth. For all grieving the election and change of government, or afraid, seeking best ways forward, and otherwise suffering with the state of our nation and world. Metta for everyone and well-being for our planet, with lots of self-care and kindness permeating everything. For Adam and Young, Jones, Jen and family, Colleen, Mitt, and all my friends who lost their homes and belongings, including a lifetime of artwork, in the LA fires that took so many and destroyed so much in Pasadena and Altadena. Sending metta to all those affected by the fires and the continued effects of their losses. Metta to my stepfather David, who died of ALS on January 17th. Metta to my mother Mary, who preceded him in death by 25 years and who would have turned 76 on January 18th. Metta to my sister Erica and nieces and nephew, Mary, Madeline, and Tim, for the loss of David, Papa D, strong and consistent figure in their lives. May you all be well and joyful. May you be comforted by your friends and community. May you know that I love you all dearly and always. Perhaps you feel it too. Like hate, ill will. It just really doesn't make sense anywhere. And we see the fruit of it. I don't have any of these quotes, but I'm sure if we went around the room and people have a handful of quotes they can recite about how futile hatred is. Defensiveness, turning away from one another. And the truth of the matter is, though, that it is our very conditioned response when we feel threatened, right? When we're confronted, defend, shut down, back away, protect, take care of our own. And this moving away from one another is quite the opposite of what the Buddha taught, what we're training for, right? To be able to respond to what's needed in the moment with care. And he was really clear again and again and again, without exception. And I got hung up on that for a long time early in my practice. There's the yeah buts, right? Maybe in the meditation as we're going through people, you're like, all right, neutral people, fine, like difficult people. But they did this, right? There's a simile. It's like likened to holding a hot coal in our hand, burning our hand, and expecting the other person to suffer. And we conflate kindness with this passive allowing or endorsement of whatever shenanigans you did in your life to get you to where you are. And can it be both? Can it be this acknowledgement, like, that's a bunch of shenanigans. Those are not good choices, right? You're in a really tough spot because of it. And I care. Like, I care. I'm not caring doesn't mean I'm going to fix it for you, right? And caring just means I'm not abandoning, right? Not throwing you out of my heart. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can move in. Like, I care, but I'm going to care for you while you're over there and I'm over here, right? But I'm not over here judging. I'm not over here withholding what I'm able to give generously. And maybe that's a listening ear today. Maybe next month it's money. Maybe I really can do that. Maybe I am moved to do that. But where we get snagged is in the rules that we create, the shoulds. What you should do, what I should do, whether you earned it, whether you didn't, whether you thanked me, like all of the rules we create to govern our own hearts. And the Buddha, it was like wild, guided us to give without expectation of anything in return. So counter to what most of us, I think, have been raised, socialized to do, right? It's like, oh no, that's the formula for being taken advantage of, right there. That's it. You can rattle it off, name someone, tell a very detailed story of how they got taken advantage of. And that's not exactly what the Buddha was teaching, this sort of unaware or blind offering. Right? Seeing clearly what's happening in our hearts, in our minds, externally, is the only way that we can respond skillfully, is the only way that we can respond with something that's needed, that's useful. Otherwise, we're responding to some narrative, some story, some preference, some judgment that we have generated, that the mind has generated. And fully expect that it works, that it will like have an impact because we've thought about it. It makes sense. Maybe we vetted it with a couple of other people who are like, absolutely, that's what should happen. They're out of their mind or whatever it is, right? And when we become comfortable sitting still, quiet, listening, like, what does this heart, just this heart, need? For that sense of wellness, that sense of connection, a sense of ease. Sometimes it's distance from one another, right? I need space. I'm going to love you quietly, far, far away for a while. And maybe we can come back together. But that feels risky to do, that unknown. Right? We want a sort of roadmap through our relationships. You're this sort of person, therefore I have this amount of distance from you and I behave in this way. And when this heart, I call it softening, probably because I'm just like hard myself. I have this shell, I'm gonna chip away at it, and it feels like a softening. It used to be kind of scary, right? But when there's this softening, Like, I really want you all, everyone, to be happy, to be safe, to have what you need, to take care of yourself, to resolve your problems. I don't want to add to your problems. I don't want to be added to the list of people that are judging you, have bias against you, right? Some preconceived notion, have put you in this category. And we don't have to confuse this care with an endorsement, like I said. I'm going to come back to my notes because I was just talking. So, Christina Feldman, who's an author, she was one of the co-founders of Gaia House Meditation Center in England, I believe. And this is from a number of years ago, actually, I think in Tricycle. And they're talking about Kuan Yin. So I said I would talk about Kuan Yin, so I'm coming back to that. They write, some statues of Kuan Yin, who is the Bodhisattva of compassion, have 1,000 arms. This one, she's sitting very respectfully. Some, she's sitting with her knee up and sort of draped, like, bring it, which I love. That's my favorite. And then some, she has 1,000 arms, hands and arms, each of them with a symbol that represents a different kind of response. A vase of ointment to soothe and heal, a willow branch to bless, and all kinds of weaponry dedicated to uprooting suffering, or dukkha, and its origins, which is confusion, ignorance, craving, aversion. It goes to show that the range of appropriate responses is large and wide. So back to that, it's not formulaic, a sort of response. They go on to say, sometimes suffering can be intense and have no easy resolution, which I think we probably know that well. In those kinds of situations, compassion is bearing with the impulses to try to prematurely solve situations. Compassion becomes our willingness to keep showing up, to listen deeply, to bear witness, and be with suffering. And I think that is one of the greatest difficulties that we have, is to just be with suffering, to be with someone who is experiencing difficulty without giving them advice, without telling them how to fix their problem, without disassociating. To just be. It's like sitting with someone who's dying. There's nothing to be done. They go on to say, in our time, one of Kuan Yin's hands, and this was maybe 10 years ago this article was written, just FYI. In our time, one of Kuan Yin's hands may hold a banner that says Black Lives Matter, or we ask for democracy, or keep fossil fuels in the ground. Many forms of suffering are systemic, not just personal and psychological. Our practice needs to acknowledge these forces, and sometimes we need to stand against structural forms of suffering. Compassion also lies in our capacity to say no, to be able to accept and embrace what is does not mean that everything is acceptable. There is much in this life that is not acceptable, things that perpetuate, create, and recreate dukkha and suffering. We need to be clear about when to show up, when to embrace, when to say no, and when to commit to healing and to liberation. But when compassion calls for a fierce no, a fierce protest against unethical activity, against those who perpetuate suffering, racism, violence, or greed, there can there also be the wisdom of not othering, not blaming, not turning people into an enemy. This is probably one of the greatest challenges of developing compassion, to know how to bring that same empathy to ignorance as we would to blameless or innocent suffering. It's not difficult to find compassion for a crying child, unless you're on the airplane, or the frailty of a very elderly person struggling to get through their day. But not in our practice, we are asked to leave no one out of our widening field of concern and care. And the Buddha was intentional in that gradual practice of offering compassion, starting with ourselves, and then someone who's easy to love, and then the neutral zone. Because if we go to, of course I want everyone to be happy. Of course I want everyone to be free of pain and suffering, right? We overlook the nuances, the complexity of our human relationships. Because in truth, for many of us, right, when we got to the difficult person, like, not so much, right? I think you deserve that suffering, right? It's not on me to say you shouldn't suffer, right? And it's not the willing, the action to free them. It's freeing our own heart from this grip of holding ill will, of holding hatred. Because we cannot radiate out kindness over the entire world except for that person or that group of people or people that look like that or voted like that. But I love everyone. And that's a hard truth to sit with. Fortunately, we don't have to sit here and berate and blame and judge and shame ourselves. Like, that is the nature of the mind. It is how we have all been socialized. It's how we've all been conditioned. And so what we are doing here is nothing short of miraculous. And in this sea of divisiveness and othering, that we're interested in softening and opening. Showing up for one another, even when we don't know what we're supposed to do. Even when we want to show up, we also want something out of it. Like, it doesn't scrub clean quickly, like all of this conditioning of the mind. Right? Don't give too much. And is there a way to take care, to be safe, to be well, at the very edge of that? Right? When we are attuned, right? And sometimes I get it wrong, and Shelley is happy to point this out to me. Shelley is my partner. Like, oh, you were very generous. Shelley says I'm a very generous person, but sometimes questions my motives. Like, why that? Or why that much? Like, what is that? And sometimes we do. We want to be acknowledged. We want to be seen. We want to be fill in the blank. Right? And then we could spin out like, oh, I'm such a bad person. Just spin out is actually spinning in to selfing, right? Or we could say, that's interesting. I wonder what that is about. Be interested without withdrawing, without shutting down. And we'll know. We'll have a sense. We will develop a sense. What we often want is immediate. I want to know now. I don't want to get it wrong. I've been working on a project at work to help facilitate conversations around race. And like, that is a thread. It keeps coming back. Like, I don't want to say something wrong. I want to get it right. And when we withhold, because we're centering our own fear, our own sense of inadequacy, or we're centering self, in that way we're perpetuating separation and distance. And the cultivation of intention, like, where is this coming from? What is motivating you? Is significant when we are honest with ourselves. So sometimes it can be that our kindness, our generosity with someone maybe who's struggling is to show that we're really good people. We're good. I'm helping you because I'm good. And if you just listen to me, your life will be better because I'm good and I know what I'm doing, right? So it can be hard, this showing up without a plan to fix or know and still be with someone who's suffering. And we can get exhausted in that dance of trying to figure out who's deserving and who's not deserving and how much. So it's like equanimity. It's like this. All that's happened has contributed to it being the way it is right now. Have I done what I can do that is of use? And let it be. That's the hard part, without expectation that they're going to get their life together. I invested all this time, I spent all this money, I did all the things, and here they are. Which is making it about us. I think it's Thanisara Bhikkhu who has translated so much of Buddhist text. He was talking about, the mind's inclination to identify who's deserving and not deserving, as if there's someone out there who's only been good their whole life, or they've only been bad, right? What I'll say it, refuse to see or hold, right? We choose to believe that if what you're doing now is not in your best interest or is causing harm. There's been something in you all the way along like that. Of course it would be like this, right? What's much more difficult to acknowledge and to hold is that this person maybe was a beautiful and loving and kind person at some point in time. Or that this beautiful, kind, and loving, and beautiful in spirit, beautiful and kind and loving person that's here before us right now, perhaps did something horrendous previously. In this lifetime, another lifetime, if you believe in other lifetimes. It's this level of awareness that we really want to be aware of. Not of what group or category someone is in or how bad their stuff is, but how does this heart relate? My neutral people for, it's been a few years now, has been like the people who are outside with a sign. Because I realized, I kind of just didn't, I saw them, but it could have been a tree or it could have been a stop sign. There wasn't this acknowledgement of or at least for very long, of a suffering human being. I shouldn't say that. My first neutral group was cashiers you actually have an interaction with, and I realized that I wasn't making eye contact, there was no kind exchange there. They were doing their job, I was doing the thing. And it was this chipping away of the hardened heart, the softening of seeing another human being. And how tied I have been to my own narrative about their life, which is funny to say out loud because how do I know? I don't. I don't, but it's a well-developed narrative, I assure you. Right? And I cling to it, and I respond to it as if it were truth. Now, I don't feel good about saying that, right? But the other side of that is that by saying it out loud to a bunch of beautiful, kind, and loving people who won't judge me because of it, right? It helps me loosen my grip to it. I can see it and laugh, yeah, it's a little ridiculous. But it's true, but that's what the mind does. But I'll remember it the next time I pick up that story that I'm spinning. I'll remember sitting here. I will remember Jessica laughing along with me. All right? Simply the question is to drop in, because we feel so justified in the moment, is this way of relating to this other human being, will it help generate happiness or well-being? It just takes that question to go back, there's the moment of mindfulness and care, will this really help? Well, it would if they would do what I said, right? It's just like that. And so it can be a bit of whiplash, millions of times a day, if we're really paying attention to the habits of the mind, that we go, oh yeah, come back. Okay, that's not kind. Okay, all right, come back. But what happens relatively quickly, I would say, is if we are diligent, if we persevere, and we are kind to ourselves in this, okay, right? it becomes less. We see it coming. We understand the conditions, the attitude of mind that gives rise to this, oh no, not you, not that. Like we can intervene, have an intervention with our own minds. The Buddha has some lovely stories and similes and chants to remind us of how important it is to hold this attitude of caring. And he says in the Lovingkindness chant, which is on the wall over there framed, like, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart, you protect this attitude of care. Do not let hatred, ill will seep in. It's like, this word came to me earlier today, it's like poison. And we see the effects of that nationally, in our neighborhoods, like neighbors who are warring with each other. And it can be easy to feel good about our practice and go tell others they should really do it too because they really need it, right? And that may be true. That may be true. What people feel this shift that we are making more than they can hear the words of the Buddha, right? They feel the difference when we're in that same old argument and we don't do the dance that we usually do. Tuwari Salah, who's the guiding teacher at Seattle Insight, and she's teaching here this summer. They have the poster up already for July. I mean, that could be ready for July, but she tells the story, like, she has a boisterous family, and, she had a particular role in the family as sort of the instigator of the argument, and after a number of years of practicing, or some time, I don't know if it was a number of years, so some time of practicing, the family was doing the dance and she didn't do her move. And they were like, wait, aren't you going, you should do that, you should say that thing. She's like, well, I'm not doing that. And that itself is so disruptive to these like unhealthy, unskillful dances, relationships, systems that we are part of. We think we have to go in, kick the door in, blow it down, and, cuss someone out or tell them about themselves. And just a shift, a sidestep in the way that we show up. She didn't stop showing up. She just engaged differently in a way that supported her own well-being, that contributed to her own happiness. Now, she will say, they still go at it, the family. They still do the thing. So she didn't magically transform the whole family. We shouldn't discount even the slightest shift in the way that we show up for one another. I don't know how this really fits, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. I guess my thinking was that, like, it takes a good deal of courage to step outside of these familial, social ways that we've been conditioned. We're often the only one, and it's hard to stay rooted, to stay upright, even if we believe with our whole being that this is what's beneficial. I had a friend once who asked, isn't it interesting that courage isn't one of the paramis, one of the wholesome qualities that supports us in relationships, supports this awakening and enlightenment? I found this book of prayers and poems, short essays. So it is a prayer. I don't mean to offend anyone if you are not a godly person. I probably wouldn't regard myself as a godly person. But I had a lot of appreciation for this prayer, so I'll just share it. It's for when courage feels far from you. And it's written to the God of those who tremble. Courage can feel foolish when we've seen the world and all its terror, but protect us from life lived in perpetual vigilance. Keep fear from monopolizing our relationships, our desires, our motivations, so that we can act without rehearsing the worst of our imaginations. Help us meet our fear with kindness and mercy. There are times when we feel small and exhausted. Harness our courage. Grant us contentment in our limits and community in our battles. Send others who tremble alongside us, who'll speak truth with calmness. Show us we need not be giants if we have good friends. And lead us beside still waters. The space is thin between bravery and rest. Remind us that fear is as bodily as any emotion. Slow our breath, ground our attention, lie still with us as courage finds us. May it be so. Maybe I'll leave it there and we can hear from you. Around compassion. When you've been able to be close in compassion, when it's been difficult, or questions, challenges to anything that I said, it's all fair game. And I think we have to use the microphone in the room, but maybe we can start online if there's anyone. And I think, is this right, Steve? They can just unmute themselves and start talking. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
There is also a request for the information about the text stages.
Oh, sure. So the book is Black Liturgies, and the author is Cole Arthur Riley, all spelled as you might think, and she is a Black woman, Cole Arthur Riley. And yeah, there are some very powerful pieces here. And yeah, guides for reflection on our own hearts. All right, I did a bang-up job then. I'll take it at that. Yeah, I appreciate your attention. I just appreciate you showing up this evening. There is, I think many of us are saying it or hearing it, that there's a lot of shit moving right now, and it's hard. It is hard. And so this opening, like lean in, extend care, isn't what's being reflected in many places, but it is. We are reflecting it for one another right here, and we are not alone. And each of us has some span of influence in our life. And that slight shift, not engaging in the dance the way that we always have, that maybe cause harm, it leaves an imprint. It is noticed. Yes, Steve. Oh, microphone.
Something I've been wondering is when I practice metta for the difficult person, there was a time when I really could not, and that's changed. But still, when I do, I'm unsure whether it's genuine, you know. And I'm comparing this to what it was like to imagine the death of my father when he was still alive and fine. And I thought, well, I'll be fine. And then his actual death, of course, as it would, it tore me apart. And I wonder how to really see inside the heart and really see, is this metta for somebody who I find very difficult? Is this genuine? Do you have thoughts about that sort of challenge?
I probably have more questions than answers. Did everyone online hear Steve okay? Yes, okay, good. Yeah. There is this want to know, to get it right. Like, I'm only gonna do this if it's like really, really, really pure, right? What is the harm of starting where we are? Like, oh, I just don't even like you, but yeah, I want you to be happy. Like, there's more sincere offerings, right? But is there actual harm in, this is what I have right now. I am not wishing you harm. I am not wishing you ill. Right? I have this much, and I'm willing to give it to you. There's many teachers who talk about, like, we sort of wait until we like have this full embodiment of loving kindness, and that is not necessary. That is not necessary. It's often why I don't use the words loving kindness, because there's this very impassioned, romanticized, like it's gonna feel good and soft and gooey and warm, and I'll just know. And then it doesn't happen. And we think, oh, this must not be it. There must be something else that needs to happen. So I won't offer you care now, maybe later when I'm feeling it, right? It's true, it's what the mind does, right? Like, I'm willing to say these things out loud. But is there harm in offering exactly what we have? Is it genuine care? No, it's a real question, Steve. Does it feel tinged with, I want something? Like, it's a rhetorical question. I mean, for you to reflect on, or maybe all of us, right? Like, and can it be both? Can I offer, like, I do want you to be happy, and I want you to give me my money back, and I want you to, like, be grateful. I want you to be happy, and I want these other things, like acknowledging this is what's moving. We're not practicing for perfection. Throw it out the window. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes us awake to seeing infinite imperfections, right? The kindness that's tied with some sort of desire, right? And so I don't know that I would say, like, I don't know that I have clarity about pure, not pure. Like, is there care there? And I imagine that what you're experiencing, or what comes up for me, is the degree. Like, it's a modicum. Like, oh, I have this other experience where I'm like unrestricted in my care, my well wishes for this person, and I don't quite have it for you. So is this genuine? Maybe that's the little bit we have is what we have. And can we not withhold that little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious. I guess going along with that, in terms of care and kindness, is that something that's, generative, or is it about kind of like, because I can get pulled to, a very mindy place of like, how much care, and is there any care, and so on and so forth. Or is it just kind of getting, underneath all that muck or whatever, or both, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like that question. Is it generative, or you're like, oh, I wasn't born with that, right? I don't have that. I think we all have it, right? We all have the capacity for care. And we all have likely had experiences in our life, some more extreme and harmful and devastating than others, that led to us protecting, tamping down, shielding, metering out that care, right? Until we really come to firmly believe, like, oh, I don't do that anymore. It's not safe. And so it's not just one thing, I have it or I don't have it, or I only have this much. It can be as simple as coming together in this space, like this willingness to look. That's it. The expectation isn't that any of us go out of here fixed, right? Because that supposes that we're broken to begin with. What we sit to do, what we practice to do, what we study to understand is how this presentation has come to be. The experiences in our life, our relationships, where we're holding on, fixed, rigid, that's my word for me, rigid, right? Where we are avoidant, we just turn away, can't even deal with it, or where we sort of float in, like, I don't really know what's happening. I don't really know what to do. I don't know if this is the thing, right? That's greed, hatred, delusion. Just understanding, like, how is the way that we relate to what's happening internally and the world shaped? How has it been shaped by these patterns? And it's that understanding, because I've talked about this, like I've gone on many a retreat, like I'm going to uproot judgment. That's my mission. That's what I'm getting rid of. And it only has been this turning toward judgment with kindness. Like, oh, honey, yeah, I know how you got to be that way. I get it. And it's not going to just disappear. I mean, it might, but I think it'll take a really long time because it's been growing for a really long time. It is deeply rooted, right? And we get stuck on that shouldn't be, I'm embarrassed, I'm a practitioner, I'm a teacher, that shouldn't be, what will people think? And I'm swimming in that distraction, that selfing, and not attending to the heart. Like, oh yeah, honey, yeah, oh, you don't actually have to do that right now. You don't have to judge yourself right now. You can wake up when you catch yourself judging. We can wake up when we catch ourselves defending the heart, not leaning in. It is a hard thing to do, to lean in when every fiber says, I'm afraid, I don't want to, right? But we know, we have good information. We know where not leaning in has gotten us, how that feels. Disconnected, alone, isolated, not feeling seen, not feeling valued. So we have to do something different. Yeah? Seeing, it's the first thing. And it's not just this practice that helps us see, right? There's lots of spiritual and faith practices. I happen to be a big proponent of therapy, right? There are lots of ways to reflect on how we came to be this version of ourselves. And being reminded that there's a lot we could be when we lean in with courage, fearlessness. Yeah. Oh, that's helpful. So we're at time. Thanks again, everyone. Steve, are you going to say a few words? Do you want me to say? Steve's like looking at me like, no, I wasn't. Do you?
I have one or two things to say.
Okay, all right, thank you. Steve is our program host, not just someone
Yes,
I'm
I'm host
picking on.
tonight. If anybody's new, or if anybody's old, and you have questions that you don't want to direct to Stacy, you can try me and see what happens. There, I think, still is a compost bag out under the coat racks. If anybody is composting at home, it'd be lovely if somebody would take that. And then in addition, probably most of you know this, but I'll remind you that Common Ground operates on the generosity of all of us and delivers without expectation of return, but it operates better if we contribute, such as taking the compost, but also there are donables just over here, and there is a square pad thing, electronic thing that you can donate with, and there are many other ways to donate if you wish to provide money, and there are many ways to donate time, and Stacy or I can certainly help you find those if you'd like. That's all I have, Stacy.
That's all I was going to say. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much, everyone. Take good care of yourselves. Be well. Enjoy the Super Bowl if you do the Super Bowl. I don't know. Yeah. Bye, Zoomers.